Mike, and here's the white fibrous clots that we're talking about. I'll show them to your audience here. And you're right, the last time we spoke was in January of this year, and I had completed my second worldwide embalmer blood clot survey. And basically the two surveys I've done over the last 2 years with the embalmers have yielded three key results. First of all, 7 out of every 10 of the embalmers around the world responding to the survey are indeed seeing these white fibrous clots, like I just showed the audience. The consensus of those embalmers is that this phenomenon started in 2021, which is after the rollout of the COVID-19 vaccines. And third, and maybe most shockingly, the embalmers are seeing these white fibrous clots in an average of about 20% of their corpses, Clayton. So this is not a rare phenomenon. They're seeing these in an average of 1 out of every 5 corpse that they embalm. We have found 2 cath lab whistleblowers, myself and a doctor in the UK, Dr. Philip McMillan, who has a YouTube channel called Vegan Health, VEJON. He has found what's called a cath lab whistleblower who works in one of these cath labs. He's been working in the same cath lab for 20 years, and he has told Dr. McMillan he's been removing anywhere between 3 to 10 of these white fibrous clots out of living patients every week in his one cath lab alone. He also has access to the COVID vaccination records of all his patients. And he says 99% of the time when he finds the white fibrous clots, the person's had anywhere between 1 to 8 jabs, and the more jabs they've had, the worse the clotting seems to be.
Wow.
I have found my own cath lab whistleblower here in the United States. His name is Dr. Mohamed Basharat, and he works in Jacksonville, Florida. He's a cardiologist and endovascular specialist. He was introduced to me by a friend of his, another doctor, a Dr. Dan McDyer, who's an OBGYN, also in Jacksonville, Florida. Dr. Basharat has sent me email communications. In fact, he sent me one here showing a photograph of a white fibrous clot covered in blood before it's cleaned off. A white fibrous clot, this was a DVT, a deep vein thrombosis that he removed from a patient. And also you saw on there the angiograms as well, what the clot looked like while it was still in the body before it was removed. So he's been removing these from living people for the last 3 years. And so has the whistleblower that Dr. McMillan identified to me. Yet they're afraid to come out. Dr. Basharat's afraid to come out and speak publicly about it because he's afraid of having his license pulled or his board certifications taken away. This is serious business, right? As I explained at the beginning, 1/5 of the corpses that the embalmers are working with are containing these white fibrous clots. So you have to wonder, well, what percentage of the U.S. population is walking around right now with these clots maybe growing inside of them, eventually growing to the point where they cause a stroke or heart attack. And
do we know if there's a way to stop? Yeah, big pharma, of course not. They're not going to do that. Do we know from your experience now, if someone is alive and they're having these clots and they're having them removed, is there a way that we now know that can reverse this?
Well, physical removal sometimes seems to be the only way that can work because the Dr. McMillan's whistleblower said that when patients come in and the doctors suspect they have these type of clots, the first thing they'll do is they'll give them heparin and other clot-busting drugs. And those seem to work well against traditional grape jelly clots and chicken fat clots, but not against these white fibrous clots, which are much more tough and rubbery. So then that's why they have to go in using these catheters and physically get them out, either sucking them out or actually using a catheter device that goes up and it releases a basket. They go past the clot and then they scrape it out. So
do we know the symptoms? Like if someone's watching right now, it's like, well, someone says they're watching right now, they've had 4 COVID shots and they're wondering, what symptoms they should look for. Do you have any idea?
Well, as these things grow, larger and larger in your veins and arteries, they get to the point where they start to cause fatigue, right? So you'll feel fatigued. You might even feel, tightness in your chest. Some of those things can be signs. Brain fog could be a sign if you're not getting adequate oxygen to the brain, for example. Now, Dr. Peter McCullough has got a regimen out there on his website of using 3 supplements, natural supplements. Nattokinase is one, bromelain's another, and curcumin. And the nattokinase seems to be doing a good job, according to Dr. McCullough, of helping to break down these white fibrous clots. So I recommend your viewers go to his website to take a look there, take a look for any daily dosage amounts, as well as any warnings, because they are blood thinners. Nattokinase is an extract of soy. The Japanese have been using it for decades, and it is a natural type of blood thinner.